Diplomacy, as a nuanced art of managing international relations through negotiation, predates modern nations and has been a fundamental component of human society since ancient times. Its origins can be traced back to the earliest civilizations where communication between tribes and later city-states necessitated some form of diplomatic interaction. In Mesopotamia, for instance, evidence from the Amarna letters suggests that diplomatic correspondence and treaties were commonplace among states around 1400 BCE. These letters reveal not only the existence of diplomatic protocols but also an early recognition of common interests and mutual benefits. In ancient China, diplomacy was shaped significantly by the philosophies of Confucianism, which emphasized morality, proper conduct, and hierarchy in relationships. Chinese envoys known as Shai were sent to neighboring states to foster peaceful relations and manage conflicts through rituals and formalized communication. This early form of diplomacy was pivotal in maintaining stability and order in a region where shifting alliances could lead to warfare. Similarly, classical Greece contributed to the evolution of diplomacy with the establishment of proxenoi, who acted as representatives of city-states and managed their affairs in other cities. This role was crucial during periods of conflict such as the Peloponnesian War, demonstrating how diplomacy served both as a conduit for dialogue and a tool for espionage. Greek practices highlighted the importance of negotiation and arbitration in resolving disputes without resorting to violence. The Roman Empire further developed these concepts by institutionalizing diplomacy through structured diplomatic services. Treaties such as Foedus became tools for binding agreements with other nations or tribes, often enforced through military might or strategic marriages. Roman diplomacy was characterized by its pragmatism and its use of client states, which served as buffer zones or diplomatic links between Rome and potential adversaries. In the medieval period, the nature of diplomacy began to change with the emergence of centralized monarchies. The Holy See emerged as a significant diplomatic entity deploying papal legates to mediate disputes across Christendom. Secular rulers also began to employ permanent ambassadors at foreign courts, an innovation attributed to the Italian city-states during the Renaissance. These ambassadors held continuous residence at foreign courts and played key roles in shaping international politics through constant monitoring and reporting on developments abroad. The Peace of Westphalia in 1648 marked a turning point by establishing concepts that would underpin modern international law and sovereignty. This treaty concluded the 30 Years' War in Europe and acknowledged the principle cuius regio, ius religio, allowing rulers to determine their state's religion, an important step towards recognizing national sovereignty. The treaty arrangements underscored how diplomatic negotiations could lead to enduring peace agreements reshaping political landscapes. As European powers expanded overseas from the 16th century onwards, diplomacy evolved to include not just dealings between sovereign states but also colonial administrations and indigenous peoples. The Treaty of Tordesillas in 1494 is one example where diplomacy was used to divide newly discovered lands outside Europe between Spain and Portugal, demonstrating how diplomacy could be employed in global exploration contexts. By contrast, non-European societies such as various Native American tribes used their own forms of diplomacy to deal with settlers and each other. They engaged in complex networks of alliances that involved councils, gift-giving as symbolic acts reflecting diplomatic commitments, and negotiated peace treaties, which often had long-lasting implications for land rights and sovereignty. The late Enlightenment period saw another shift with figures like Benjamin Franklin emphasizing diplomatic skills based on personal charisma, intelligence gathering, and cultural adaptability. His success in negotiating French support during the American Revolution highlighted how individual skill could influence international outcomes. As industrialization brought about new global challenges in the 19th century, so too did it bring innovations in diplomatic practice, including multilateral conferences like the Congress of Vienna, 1814-1815. Such gatherings aimed at maintaining balance among European powers demonstrated growing complexity in international relations, requiring coordinated multilateral efforts. Throughout history thus far, diplomacy has been instrumental not only in preventing conflicts but also in shaping cultural exchanges and economic partnerships that have defined human progress across centuries. Its adaptation over millennia reflects changes in political structures, social norms, technological advancements, and economic conditions. In conclusion, while diplomacy before modern nations might seem vastly different from contemporary practices underpinned by digital communications and international law, at its core it remains an indispensable mechanism through which entities, be they tribes or empires, navigate their external environments. The historical significance lies not merely in specific events or treaties, but rather in how these practices laid down foundational principles for international engagement that continue to influence global interactions today.